drivers swap by Mercedes. Reports that two unnamed teams are planning to swap drivers midway through the season have set F1 fans' minds racing. As his difficult start to the year with Mercedes continues, Lewis Hamilton is among a slew of dissatisfied stars, prompting speculation that a surprise switch could be on the cards. The Mercedes-AMG Petronas F1 Team today confirmed that George Russell will become teammate to reigning seven-time world champion Lewis Hamilton, beginning from the 2022 Formula One season as the sport enters a new era of technical regulations. In this video, we are going to be addressing the drivers' swap by Mercedes and what has happened to lead to this event, so do not go anywhere. Before we continue, please make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out when we post a new video. The Emilia Romagna Grand Prix was yet another disaster for Hamilton. Due to a lack of performance in Friday's qualifying, Saturday's sprint, and Sunday's race, the seven-time world champion was forced to settle for P13 after being stranded at the end of a DRS train. The fact that he was passed by last season's champion, Max Verstappen, has sparked additional speculation over Hamilton's future, which could intensify in light of a new report. While former world champion Mika Häkkinen claims Hamilton will be weighing his options, the fact that the driver's departure is unsurprising makes it unlikely, if not impossible, that the Brit will leave. Over the weekend, Hamilton called Häkkinen's statements nonsense. However, numerous big-name replacements have been suggested. While no names have been confirmed, a transfer between two drivers already on the grid has sparked speculation that Daniel Ricciardo of McLaren and Pierre Gasly of AlphaTauri may swap positions. Despite his large wage, Ricciardo continues to trail teammate Lando Norris, and Gasly outperformed his teammate Yuki Tsunoda previous season, finishing with more than 3 times the points. The Australian has only 11 points this season, but he has a long relationship with Red Bull, which owns AlphaTauri. Meanwhile, Gasly had an unsuccessful call-up to Red Bull in 2019, indicating that he could be better off looking for work elsewhere. Sebastian Vettel, a 4-time world champion, is another name mentioned in connection with a possible exchange. Despite a commendable P8 at Imola last time out, the German has struggled with Aston Martin, and while few current drivers stand out as definite swap alternatives, some have suggested a deal with Williams' Alex Albon. If Fabrega's insider allegation is correct, Vettel's retirement from Formula One, which has been a hot topic in recent weeks, could be on the horizon. Between 2010 and 2013, the former Red Bull driver won 4 consecutive world titles and is third all-time in race wins. Nicolas Latifi of Williams is likewise considered to be on the verge of a nervous breakdown following a string of poor performances, spins, and crashes. It remains to be seen whether P16 at Imola will be enough to send his team over the line and force a mid-season change. If the possibility of a driver swap relates to a driver who is not currently on the grid, reigning F2 world champion Oscar Piastri is among those expected to make the jump. Lewis Hamilton says of 2022 Mercedes teammate George Russell, "I have no doubts he's going to be a strong competitor. Russell, Lewis and I have a huge amount of respect for each other." Team revealed new car on Friday. Hamilton's reaction to his final lap 2021 title defeat to Max Verstappen was the focal point of questioning as he spoke to the media for the first time since the controversy surrounding last season's final race in Abu Dhabi, and ultimately he said he is focused on being the best I can be and coming back stronger. This season, though, things will be a little different at Mercedes, with Hamilton's 5-year teammate Valtteri Bottas being replaced by former Williams driver George Russell, who is expected to give a new challenge. Of course, he's had an incredible journey to Formula One, and he was already a part of our team, so I've seen him in engineering, in the simulator, and obviously at Williams, Hamilton said of Russell. While Hamilton, 37, has 103 race wins and 7 championships to his credit, Russell, 24, has only 1 podium in 60 races. Hamilton insists he will not underestimate the young driver's challenge. "I understand his predicament, competing against a world champion," Hamilton added. "I understand the pressures, the expectations, and the internal sensations that come with it." Former Formula One driver Mika Häkkinen has suggested that Hamilton is considering his options and may potentially retire from the sport. The 7-time world champion, on the other hand, categorically denied this. However, there is doubt about the future of some other prominent athletes. Another name that has been mentioned is McLaren's Daniel Ricciardo, who is rumored to be swapping seats with AlphaTauri's Pierre Gasly. Gasly demonstrated his class alongside Yuki Tsunoda last year, and with Ricciardo failing to live up to his massive salary at McLaren, this report may be true. Ricciardo has struggled this season, scoring only 11 points in the first 4 races. It might also benefit Ricciardo, who has a relationship with Red Bull, the company that owns AlphaTauri. Meanwhile, Gasly failed to persuade the Red Bull management, and it may be in his best interests for him to leave the squad entirely. Sebastian Vettel of Aston Martin is another name that has been mentioned in connection with this rumor. Despite a points finish at Imola, it is fair to argue that he has yet to show his credentials at Aston Martin. To be fair, he doesn't have the best car at his disposal, and many have anticipated that he will retire from racing soon. In light of this, a rumor linking him to a temporary swap to Williams and a promotion for Alex Albon to Aston Martin has been circulating. It does not appear to be very likely, however. If the trade reference is for someone not currently on the grid, F2 winner Oscar Piastri may replace Williams' Nicolas Latifi. 2 Formula One drivers can change vehicles within a team if necessary. While there is no rule prohibiting this behavior, it is uncommon in F1. When Hamilton and Bottas were both members of the Mercedes F1 team, they swapped chassis on a regular basis. It's something the Mercedes F1 team does every season as part of their routine. On the racecourse, drivers can swap cars, but solely for the purpose of changing track positions. This is when the team gives the command to their drivers. When a team is competing for constructors or drivers' championships, it is usual to hear team commands. The 2021 Formula One World Championship is a recent example of drivers from the same team swapping chassis that we can think of. Between the Azerbaijan Grand Prix and the French Grand Prix, Mercedes Formula One drivers Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas swapped chassis. The tweak was part of the team's revised strategy following Bottas' collision in the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix in April. For the French Grand Prix weekend, Bottas took over chassis 6, which Hamilton had utilized for the first 6 races of the season. Max Verstappen of Red Bull has previously stated that he would be happy to trade cars with Lewis Hamilton. He'd do it to show that he's the fastest Formula One driver. While many Formula One fans would welcome such a change, it is unlikely to occur anytime soon. The only way we could see Verstappen and Hamilton racing in the same car is if they were on the same Formula One team. The most recent occasion this has come close was when Hamilton and Bottas swapped chassis. Can you really call that a car swap? However, I believe I would be curious to see how different drivers would perform in a different vehicle. There has been some debate as to whether or not the top drivers do well because of the vehicle. That, in my opinion, is not the case. People argue that Hamilton is good because he drives a Mercedes, for example. Max Verstappen's father, in fact, has said that his son would defeat Hamilton in the identical car. Actually, Max Verstappen has stated that he would be willing to race Lewis Hamilton in a Formula One car of the same type. While it would be a dream come true for millions of Formula One fans to have Max and Lewis in the same squad, I do not believe it will happen. Between Azerbaijan and French Grand Prix, Mercedes Formula One driver Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas swapped chassis. The tweak is part of the team's revised strategy following Bottas' collision in the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix in April. For the French Grand Prix weekend, Bottas has taken up chassis 6, which Hamilton used for the first 6 races of the season. Hamilton is currently in chassis 4, which was used by Bottas on his journey from Portugal to Azerbaijan. Bottas started the season in chassis number 5, but it was briefly removed from the rotation after his collision with Williams driver George Russell. Mercedes intends to bring chassis 5 back later in the season, and it also has chassis 3 on hand as a backup. What do you think? Do you feel he might be wrong? Let us know in the comments section below, but before you leave, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, smash the like button if you enjoyed this video, and ring the tiny notification bell so you don't miss out on any new content about racing. Thanks for watching and goodbye.